All right, it looks like we are officially live. Hello, everyone. It's been a little minute since I have seen you all face to face. It's definitely heavy convention season. You know how the summertime is. So, some of you all I've met in person, but it's really good to be back so more of you can see more of the people who need to be showcased, who you need to learn about. Speaking of people that I've met on the con scene, give it up for Chae Jones, y'all.
Hi guys.
Woo! We got the pink vibes going. We in our pretty girl era, which never stops. Gotta love it.
It's the hot girl era over here, but thank you.
Hey, it's the high girl. You can be a high girl with or without a boo. Just do you like so?
Well, I just meant in the literal sense because it like has been getting like in the high 90s, almost hundreds, and like I from the Midwest, so like
Oh,
California was the place where it's just like, oh, it's dry heat, perfect summer weather. Now humidity's here, and I'm like, go back
whew.
where I came from, please and thank you.
No, I was just talking to someone about the dry heat versus humidity. I cannot breathe in humidity, but I also was in Texas where it's dry heat over 100. So it's like it's just a trade off of two evils. Like what do I pick? It's like and I'm
No,
in Alabama, so
like I'm from Illinois, so like I went to Texas.
mm,
It was Houston, and I remember being like walking outside and was just like, "This is death." I don't like. I don't know how people live here. Me and my mom had to walk because we had to walk to like go back into the mall. We couldn't figure it out because we're not from there. And I just remember like I would take the humidity. That's also a lie. I hated the humidity too. I hate like because I had a summer job, so it was just like, and I was always outside. And just like, why are y'all here? I need y'all to go
uh,
back home. I don't care this what we are. I want you to go back to your homes or go to the water park. Like that's what you can do for me. Obviously, nobody listened. They still came. It is what it is.
they're gonna boil in that water. Like that literally makes no sense. I'm just like, you just got to be fish out of water to still breathe in this moist air. I can't. And first of all, is it daytime over there? I'm just looking at kind of like the background. It's like, is that sunlight? Wait a second.
Yeah, the sun's still out, but that's my I got a ring light.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like,
It's a little bit of
I was
both.
like, dang.
Like I actually had to look over to my yes, it is still sunny outside because I am in Cali. However, comma, I also have a ring light.
I love it. However, color. Okay, yeah, it's definitely pitch black over here in Central Time. But yeah, there's nothing like that that sun that sunset on the West Coast. I feel like that's got to be the most beautiful. And while I'm speaking, I want to send a special shout out to Remodel Media. I'm very active on the live, and let's see. Looks like his wife is from Illinois. Okay. Okay, Streamwood. Okay, when you said Streamwood, I thought you were talking about like a streaming service. So, okay, it's a small world then. And thank you for the support. We really appreciate that. So, for those of you who might not have met Chae, we actually ran into each other at Ranger Stop and Pop. And that was my second time going. And it was your first time there, correct?
It was, however, comma,
However, comma.
uh, hold on, I'm trying to figure out if I can't yet. Okay, I went. That's all I can say.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Uh,
So
because like technically, yes, it's. I mean, it's not, but it is.
we can work
Hmm.
with it. We can
I'm
work
trying to
with
figure out like the.
it.
Okay, so I'll phrase this. I was there. It was my first time being at that con. I had never been before, and I was there with the my cast because we had a booth for our fan made series called Ancient Warriors. So technically, I can talk about that because we're warriors and not rangers.
Gotcha. Okay. Now
Copyright.
let's get into that then. Let's get into that. So as far as Ancient Warriors, first of all, taking a step back, how do you feel about it being premiered? And we're gonna like skip over like, technical difficulties, that happens. But skipping past that, how do you feel about that being premiered? Was that the first time y'all premiered that at a con, or have you premiered it in other events before? How was that feeling?
That was the first time, like, to my knowledge, that it had been seen by other people, including the cast, because we have not seen it.
What?
We've seen nothing since we filmed it.
Oh, that's so
Maybe Ryan
awesome.
has seen it. He might have. Obviously, Anna and Lauren has, but me myself, and I think the rest of us, we have not seen it since we filmed it.
Wow. Okay, so it's kind of like a first look just with everybody else. That's nice. That's
It was
nice.
really interesting. Despite all the technical difficulties, it was really interesting to see or and hear people's reactions to everything. Um,
They were acting, okay?
and just the way they took to it, that was really cool. Cause like Lauren and Anna really put a lot of hard work into that, into making that happen.
Mm.
Um, and funny, like I was even debating if I was doing the movie. Um, because I hate flying.
Look, hey.
And I hate it with a passion. So when they were like, because originally it was going to be in LA when we were going to film it, and I was like, cool. And then they're like, oh, we're doing it across the country in the East Coast, and I'm like,
Woo! I've never made that kind of flight. So
um,
power to
that
you.
was that was a decision I made from to like keep to do it because we're also like there are a couple people who do the series like voiceover
Mm,
that were obviously though they do the voiceover for the series, they weren't in the live action as the people. So
mm.
they're like, there's like couple cast members were different. And I didn't want to make that an even harder thing on Lauren and Anna if I couldn't come. So I
Oh.
made the decision to save my money and pay my plane ticket and go.
Whew. First off, more power to you because the farthest I've flown is like to Texas from Alabama. So not even half the country. So for you to do that, and I'm sure that's like a 5 hour flight.
6-ish because I had a layover both ways.
So you had
So
time to breathe and then get back at it.
I didn't know I don't like that at all.
Oh
I
no.
hate it.
It's like just get it over with all at once.
No, for real, even like going to the con in Atlanta, like that was be praying every day, every
That's
time I
a
got on
long
the
time.
flight, land me
That is a
safely.
long.
Like I know people fly all the time and nothing happens. I totally get that. The way I feel like my odds will be the thing that changes, and I just know my spirit. He would choose me to make an example of, and I don't want to be the
No,
example.
I
I don't want to
rebuke
be
it.
the example.
No, I
Like
rebuke you.
no, but for real, I'm just like, look, I know I don't talk to you enough as I should. But I'm here now. No, like
Hey,
I got
he
speeches
knows my
going,
heart.
or at least let me be asleep. If something were to happen, can I just be asleep? That's all I ever asked for. Because at least
Yeah.
then I'm asleep and I won't know.
Yes, you know what? I'm with you on that because I feel like, I just ask that, if anything like that happens, just take me away before, before the ending part. Please just take my soul. Pray the Lord my soul to keep, okay? Oh gosh. But you made it through. And as far as like the length of the indie project, how long did it take from start to finish to be able to get everything completed with the acting process? I've
uh,
never known how long it could take.
it was well, we had a week, so a week of filming, and we cut a lot more stuff than what like was shown.
That's the
Mostly
hard part.
because of like timing and how everything worked more than anything else. I did enjoy how it came out. It was really cool to like actually see what they did, especially because a lot of it is green screen, and it just
Mhm.
can't. She worked so hard to do that with the rest of because she goes to college now, so and she's a film major,
Okay.
a double major, but a film major. So she had help a
Shout
lot from her editor friends at school to help make this happen. So I've known her since she was 13. So
out. Oh wow.
like
Okay.
knowing her since then and watching who she's become now is amazing and ecstatic, and I'm just so proud of her.
Oh, I love that. So y'all have been just creative minds from the beginning.
Um, okay, so I also met her at a con. She walked up to me.
Okay. Go to a con,
Um,
y'all.
uh, it was my first time at that con particularly, because I was actually going to be interviewing people from a certain company, and I just remember like sitting in front, like trying to like plan the day out because it's my first. I've never been to like a con like that before. So and I just remember hearing my name and I was so confused because I don't know a lot of people from Cali. So when I hear my name, I really get confused because I'm just like, who's
You're
calling
like,
me? And I turn and this little girl, her mom, and they walk up to me and she said, "Oh, I saw you on AfterBuzz TV," and I was like taken aback because I'm just like, you watch like in my mind like you watched that. And then I was like, "It's so nice to meet her," and then we hugged and, we, went our separate ways, and then later in the day, I ran back into them because I was by myself, and I spent, like, talking like, an hour, talking to both of them, and her telling me that she wants to be in the industry, uh, and her but she didn't know she could, and I was like, "Y'all in the East Coast, y'all are hop, skip, and jump from New York City. Mama, get her in some acting classes. Let her
I
do
know
it.
that's right.
Um,
I
let
know
her
that's
do it. Let her, like y'all are literally a hop, skip, and a jump from New York. If y'all don't stop playing. True story. If you ask both of them, what I'm saying right now is very true. Um,
I believe it too.
yeah, I am that person. I'm just gonna say it to your face. But I was just like, like
We
let
need
her
that.
like she's 13. If she wants to do it and like she has a knack for it, let her do it. And then a year goes by, and because we follow each other on like socials, and then I got a message I don't remember if it was from her or from her mom, but like just letting me know that they appreciated our talks and that she had an agent now and that she's auditioning. Um,
Okay, agent.
and so it was like one of my favorite moments because it's just like never would I've expected the little girl that I met, the young woman I had met that time would now be doing this nearly 5 years later. It's
Wow.
crazy to me.
That would have just made my heart just like I did my part. Like, I changed somebody's life. And it's really good to do that because a lot of people just they sleep on their dreams, and even though it's a tough world out here, it can be hard to like push through to like what you really want to do, what you really feel like you're called to do. And so there's a lot of just potential that's lost out there, just kind of getting in line with the real world. I feel like I'm going to keep using a lot of air quotes, but it's really good to like keep that flame lit inside of people. So I'm glad you are outspoken.
Thank you. My
Yes.
teachers probably don't appreciate it, but yeah,
Oh gosh.
they probably did not
Hey,
appreciate it whatsoever.
it's a learning experience for them. You never know what you'll get. Life is like a box of chocolates, so it's a classroom. They'll adjust. They'll be fine. And that's coming from the daughter of a teacher who taught for almost 30 years. So I know like all too well. Now, speaking of origin stories, how did everything happen for you as far as like growing up? First off, let's talk about being a blerd. So, what can you say? Let's see how I can like make sure I ask this question correctly. How did that flame spark within you to get more out there as an actress in different avenues? Like, where did that start for you growing
I was watching a TV show, and I just did not like how a co-star delivered her line.
up? Okay.
I'm not
Okay, a little
lying.
critic.
I remember what show I was watching. I can't say that show, but I remember watching a kids show, and um, I don't know. It's just the way this co-star said her line, or I guess she was a guest star. The guest star said her line, and it really just bugged me. I just didn't like the delivery of it at all, and my brain was just like, I could have said that better.
Okay.
That literally is what it was. Like I was watching a show in my living room, and I just didn't particularly like how a guest star said her line. I wish I could remember the exact episode because I really don't. I know
You
the
remember
show. I
that
just don't remember
moment
the
though.
episode. But I remember how the line was said, and I just didn't particularly like it.
Oh
And
gosh.
I was just like, man, I could have said that better. So yep,
Wow.
that's that's where that started. How I actually it wasn't until like I college, and it was just like, I want to do that. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Because my first year of college, I was a communications major, and
Mhm.
then a friend at the time was just like we both wanted to do this acting thing. There's a school, they're having auditions. We should go audition. I was like, what the hell?
Why not?
Let's go. Let's. I mean, hey, if we don't get in, whatever. We auditioned. We both got in,
Okay.
and we transferred schools, and I never left California after.
Okay. Okay. Look, first off, I feel like I don't know how common or uncommon that might be to see somebody because I feel like we've all had our fair share of like, whoo, that is some crazy acting. But to be like, okay, I could do that better, so I'm gonna get on the screen because clearly they need somebody. Like that is a
What
blow.
what no what's crazy is that I had wanted to come out like I was like 5 or 6 ish.
Mm.
I was close to probably 10, 11 actually. But it was like 10, 11 when I had saw that line, and I said what I said. Um, However, and I told my parents, I'm like, I want to go to California, and I was told at the time that that was stupid.
Oh no.
And I remember, I remember like getting so upset because like it's so funny because like my dad was just like if you go to California, you're gonna be involved with drugs and this, that, and the other, ABCD. And I wanted to be like, sir, we live where we live. If I'm not doing them here, what makes you think I'm gonna do them there? Have
Gotta
you met my
trust
birth
everything.
mom? Like, okay. Um, I digress, right? Like
Okay.
FYI, I'm also like halfway adopted, so like that's his own conversation for another day. But he
Another.
said that, and I remember like I got so upset, and like I ran out the room, and I called my mom because she was at work, and I was like, "You need to get your husband,
Not your husband. Not
get your
your
husband."
husband.
He
He's
called me
acting up.
stupid. No, for real, I was like, he called me stupid. Get your husband.
This is like first
like what the
grade.
like I cannot make this up. I really wish I was like really making this. I know. I was like, call your husband, get your husband. He called me stupid in tears because I refused to cry in front of him. But I was like, she was at work, like literally, I'm gonna get your husband. I don't care,
Or like,
you know.
what?
So yeah, and it was so funny because I'm just like in my mind, I'm just like, granted, if I did have came out here at that time, like so many other young people did, would I be a completely different person? That's a question too.
Mm.
I could be a completely different person than the person I am now. I have to I have to choose to move forward in the sense that everything happened in the time it was supposed to happen. Because
Mm.
otherwise, I feel like I could be really famous by now. But that's its own separate thing, right?
Hey, it's
And
coming.
granted, I might not have met the people I know now. I might not have the same relation with people I have now.
Mm.
So the journey is whatever the journey is going to be. I am learning to trust it versus trying to get to the destination faster. Because
Mm.
like I think especially when you do have like my dream when it came to acting has never been about being famous because I think fame is fickle as hell. So that's never been my goal.
These days?
Um, Fame has never been the goal for me. I have just wanted to be remembered. I wanted to be that person in a show or in a movie that was for me when I was watching.
Mm,
That's
I like that.
that's all I want. I just want to work. I never fame is cool and everything, but like I just want to work. That's all all I want, and I will be happy.
You know what? I think that's something that a lot of people need to hear. Because like I said before, a lot of people kind of get in line with what they feel like they flow with, which, I understand. Like some people do what they can that takes like maybe the least amount of effort, and they just skyrocket until, or like they go along that path until they can switch over to their passion. But to be able to put that all in one, I think it's really precious to hold on to something like that. And really feel like what you're doing has meaning. And I also think that helps shed light on what a legacy means, because yes, like a legacy could mean, had literally like having a child and, carrying your name forward, but it could also mean like having something that you can leave behind that can stand the test of time, in a very impactful way. There are so many classic films where, and then my mom has copies too, and we would still watch it to this day, and I would still get emotional like it just came out, because that's what they left behind. So I think that really sheds a lot of light on what it means to like truly leave a legacy. I'm glad she spoke on that. This is gonna spark a lot of good passion. I love that. Oh gosh. And I know that based off of like your page, your social media, there's a lot of different blurred aspects to you. And so what I'm curious about is, what do you feel like the term blurred means to you? Or like, and at what point did you like realize like that was a thing?
um, I mean, being a blur to me, I mean, am I okay? It's gonna sound dumb. Being
No, it's not.
being a blur to me means being a black nerd. Just like I know, like, and that's
Hey,
so simple and like so
that's
simplistic.
what it is.
But that's what it is. I mean, I'm a black and I'm a nerd. Um, and I used to wear it so proudly because I really just stopped caring eventually what people had to say about me. Like when people like, and I think this is where like this would just make high school so much easier for people. And I don't know, maybe it was just so much easier for me when I learned this. The moment you stop caring about what people think, the happier you will be.
Mm,
Um, this is
amen.
specifically for me in high school because I was just bullied a lot, and then I realized, like, I don't care. I will forget most of your names
Oh,
when I leave this place. And it's true, I don't remember a lot of people from high school. I don't. The amount of people I talked to from high school under on both my hands, like, literally to this day still, that I legit still have contact with. So, when I stopped caring, I started just I was always doing things that made me happy regardless, and I was the weird um black girl who always got told like you're the whitest black girl I ever known.
oh gosh.
Um,
Woo! That's
which
a
is
whole
just like
nother topic.
which is its own separate topic, right? But it's just like because everybody thinks that like nerd spaces in a inherently white when it just isn't. Um, like liking certain things like D&D or uh ranger things or anime for
Star
example,
Wars.
and it's just like mm, okay, why is that only something that they're supposed to like? Why are we not supposed to enjoy it too? And why should I feel bad for enjoying that? Like
Amen.
I've always been the person who has never fit into a box in her entire life. I am one of those people who like you try to it's like a round peg and a what's like a square
No,
peg in
you
a
got
round
it.
hole,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that whatever that like however that phrase is. I've always been that. And it wasn't until like I accepted it that I became a lot happier about myself. Like I
That's the
will
word.
never fit in and that is okay. I was probably never meant to. And that's okay too. Like I
I
promise
love
you, if you would have asked any of my high school people, my high school teachers, they know my name. I was known. Like people knew me. Whether like whatever, whether I had your class or not, you knew my name. I took pride in that. That was
There
cool.
you
Like
go.
so again, being a blerd means just authentically loving nerdy things and being okay with it. Personally to me, anyway. And granted, I didn't even hear the term blerd until like the last couple years and actually understanding what that meant. Like in the context of oh yeah, I'm a black nerd. That is like basically what I am. I didn't even know there was a word for that.
Hey, we made it. We made it. Some people say it was like tied to. A lot of people say they first heard it in like some episode of Scrubs. Like it just kind of came out then. But I don't know if that's like the true origin story. But it's more so like kind of what it represents, like taking pride in loving something like that and just speaking on like what you were saying, like that's embracing who you are because a lot of people feel like they have to fit inside a certain box and feel like especially like with black people that we can't fit into certain areas because it's reserved for other people outside of our race who may have the same complexion as those characters. And that term is like really to take pride in that and understand that it's cool for us to be into that. We're not alone in doing stuff like that. Even when we go to different conventions, there are people. I'm always, shocked, and when I see these different stories from people who felt kind of like closed and like restricted for a good chunk of their lives, and they may be in their middle ages. When they're truly getting to see people who look like them embrace it. And so just to hear you speak on that, I'm just like, okay, you better say it loud and proud because that's how people continue to remember you. Like even, I want to give a shout out to Static Jones. Like he's a member of our group as well. He he's always stood out and has been his own person similar to what you were saying. And we just literally ran into somebody who one of his old teachers who remembered him to this day, and that was I don't know how many years ago. I'm not calling you old, Static, but but yeah, that you're memorable. So and that's what it is. That's what it is. So now to switch back over to you and your acting journey. Um, I feel like it can be hard to find indie projects to both work in and to see. I remember like I think sometime in college there were certain theaters that were dedicated to indie movies, and I don't even know if that's like a thing to this day now or if I just haven't searched hard enough. And so on your side with finding indie projects, how does that kind of work? Is it kind of like a I know, like, when you keep your ear to the streets and everything, like some people know something, uh, but there are other cases where people may really be looking, and I don't know. I've never known how the indie project stuff works. So how does that happen where you go about finding things like that? If you can talk about it.
I mean, there are a couple ways that, to my knowledge at least. One obviously is if you have an agent, and the agent is sent like the script, and they give it to you to be like, "Hey, this is an indie project, but the script is really good. Look it over." I mean, granted, but also some agents depending on if their client is really big, they won't even put any projects in front of them because
Mm,
they feel it might be beneath them in a sense. But for me personally, the reason I love indie projects is because you have there's much more creative freedom than you have with them and you can do with them than mainstream allows you to do. And another way is like also like any of the like acting websites that where you submit to audition for.
mm.
Because granted, it's not. It's. I mean, it is a lot of struck companies, but then there's a lot of short films. And there's a lot of student films as well, and then some of those also feature films or indie projects that they're casting for.
Hmm. Okay. And how would you say we could bridge the gap between, you know, I know a lot of people are always like seeing the most major stuff that hits the theaters, but what do you think could be the I'll stick with that phrase. What can bridge the gap to get more people exposed to indie projects? As far as like being
Um,
able to see it, like bring the audience to see that more.
Film festivals. Film festivals are a
Okay.
great way to see indie films, indie projects. My friends have released their projects at indie films because like LA has many of them. Whether they're like for features or they're for shorts, there actually is in a complete film festival just for shorts. Like if you have a short film, whether it's under 20 minutes, under 10, under 5, that type of thing. Um, and then there's I also just think you have to go search for indie films too. Like I'm a person who grew up watching a lot of indie films. Like
Really?
granted, I love mainstream films too, but there is something about an indie project, an independent film that I truly just do love watching, and I always have. Um, and I'm trying to think of the movies that I've seen because I can't remember now if they're owned by struck companies. But when I first watched them, I know they weren't. So I'm trying to
Mm.
figure out like which one I can mention that was like particularly safe. Granted, any A24 film you could talk about. So obviously, Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? That is essentially the A24 project that not really put them on the map because they've had over 100 projects. Like
Really?
literally, if you look at the filmography of A24, it is actually extensive.
Huh.
And
I
the
feel
reason I
like I
know that
heard
is because one
somebody
of my
talk
friends
about
had planned
that.
on ranking it, but she like looked at the number and was just like, "There's actually over 100 of them," and I was just like, "Oh, I did not know A24 was doing things like that."
Huh.
Like,
Okay, because that
I
sounds
mean,
so familiar.
I'm looking it up actually real quick. Uh, go back to life. Okay.
Let's see. We getting educated on this stream today, y'all. Okay. That is so crazy. I hear about film festivals all the time in Alabama, and it literally just didn't dawn on me like, okay, that's the place to go find the real unique stuff that feels like, dang, like I found a rare find. Didn't even think about that.
Cause like a lot of indie films, like not the ones that are bigger now, they didn't start off um like a lot of struck companies didn't like make them, right? Because they're more known for like mainstream movies, but they're distributed by struck companies, so that's also another reason why we can't talk about them as much, which really sucks.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Gotcha.
like some of these are my like I grew up watching them. Like, oh, okay, so I learned Real Women Have Curves is an indie film. So with
Putting y'all on
America
game.
Ferrera when she was 17 doing that, and it actually just got put in the National Film Library in Congress, like in their registry.
Okay.
So I just
Oh,
learned that, and I'm like, yay!
I know that's right. Let's see. I'm over here adding to my watch list right now. Now I have to add this to the Facebook page. So y'all check that out too. Y'all check that out too. I've been seeing a good amount of activity in the comments. Let's see here. Again, thank you so much, Remodel Media. I appreciate all of your support and your comments. Let's see. I want to make sure get more people always like me in high school. Okay, yeah, that's back when we're talking about high school experiences and standing out versus being yourself. He's also talking about Blerd Con. So yes, Blerd Con and Dream Con have been some great ones to go to where you'll see a lot of people who look like us and who
Okay, so
look like
yeah. So we can't talk about everything everywhere all at once because it was distributed by A24. So actually, that's actually an
okay.
example of an entire indie film who literally took the like film industry by storm in a sense
Mm,
because that movie is incredible. If you have never seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, I cannot suggest it enough.
let me see.
It deserved all the awards it got.
I literally typed in everything on Google and it literally just filled in the rest. That's
Because it is
wild.
amazing.
Oh, we might have to have a watch party, y'all. Okay.
You
Well,
haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
not to my
Like
knowledge.
you've never seen it.
Oh, that came
Stephanie
out in
Chu, Michelle
2022.
Yeoh. Like I mean,
I
yeah,
have
it
not
came out
seen
during the like it's like it was one of those movies that came out during. Okay, this is the entire thing I love about this film. So this movie had was probably I think in like 40, like it had like a limited number of theaters it was actually out in because it's still during the pandemic, and the fact that it had is limited. I think the one thing that really made it amazing was word of mouth. People were raving about this movie
Mm.
because it didn't have that many like actual like theaters that I guess they had bought for it. But word of mouth was like actually getting the traction, actually getting people into the theater to see it.
I like that. A lot of people. It looks like some people are saying they've seen it, and when I looked at the images, actually, I haven't seen it. I would say my boyfriend was watching it, and I don't know what I was doing. I think I was just on my phone or something. I
Let
don't
me
know what
miss
I
out
was
on the
doing.
masterpiece of
I know,
2022. Like
shameful moment for me.
one best picture 2023 this year.
I I have not watched it. I gotta sit down and rewatch it, like and focus and pay attention. That's on me. My bad, y'all. But y'all put in
Like
the
they literally like they cleaned up at the Oscars. I'm talking about like best director, best lead actress, best supporting actress, best picture. Like they were racking up. Like they
uh
were like and it's
oh.
because like it's an entirely indie. It was entirely funded by like distributed and everything by A24. So it's like the most weird, chaotic masterpiece I have ever seen in my entire life, and I live for it.
Really? Oh gosh. I remember seeing certain parts of it and every time I looked up, I'm just like, wait, what's going on? What's this
So yeah,
craziness
yeah.
happening?
No, and then like there's some like the exploration of the mother daughter relationship within Everything Everywhere All at Once is a beautiful example of just how complicated a mother daughter relationship is,
Mm.
especially when that mother is a technical immigrant from a different country. And it's just like when you're POC living where you're living, having to continue to fight and be to prove that you like should have a space here. It's oh my god, it's so amazing. And then there's one scene, and I don't want to spoil it because it's actually the best scene. I was in tears. And
Oh,
I couldn't even believe I was crying. It was just like, why is this scene like the most visually stunning, moving piece I've ever seen in my entire life? Like when you get to it, you will know. Trust and believe.
I might cry. Let me get my tissues ready.
When you get to it, you will know. People in the comment section will know what I'm talking about. Because I have never been so moved by a scene in that way. And it actually also just shows the profound, like, just filmmaking ability in that moment of like just how like you can do a lot with a little.
Mm.
Little is going on in this scene, but everything is going on in the scene.
Mm.
And it is visually stunning, visually breathtaking, and I am obsessed over it. Like, I was already obsessed watching the movie because I actually watched it in theaters. I was just like, "What is this movie?" But like, I saw Michelle Yeoh, and I was like, interested. Um,
Okay.
I was already sold, and then I'm watching the movie, just like, what the hell am I watching? But why am I loving it at the same time? And like the amount of things that they got away with in this movie, I'm just like, I hope that actor got paid double for that. He deserved to get paid double for that job. And everybody in the comment section know what I'm talking about.
I was
He
like, got
deserves
away with.
he deserves double pay, okay? If nothing else, for because I know that had to be real. He deserved double pay.
I need to watch this like tomorrow,
Yeah.
tonight. Shoot, who said? Okay, I'm trying to look and see like who said that they've seen it. Okay, that's the
Don't tell
founder
her
of the
what's going
group.
on though. Like, she needs to be surprised. But y'all know what I'm talking about. It is, oh, and then A24 has a new movie coming out later this year, actually, called Dicks, the musical. Um,
When you said it, I was
and
like,
I
what?
am so excited. Megan the Stallion will be in it, and yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Okay.
It's like they're like, give us another one.
Interesting. Cause I literally am on a website and the first person I saw was Megan. And I was like, oh, that is interesting. This picture that y'all gotta check it out. Y'all gotta check it out. This is a really good site. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely adding that to the list. We're gonna have some watch parties for sure. So I'm gonna add it to my list to watch every movie that you recommend. And I need to start
Oh
like
no.
tonight, between tonight and tomorrow. You're
I mean,
putting
I
us
can give
on
you a list like
game. I love
after.
it.
I was like, I can give you a list like after, because like I truly do love an indie film. Um,
Uh-oh, I think the sound went out. I can't hear you yet. Let me double check my earphones. For those of you in the chat, oh, it says you're on mute. Let me see if I can unmute you. Can't unmute guest. The mic. Oh, it says your mic isn't connected. Let's see. Hopefully that's a quick fix. Let me see. Let's see. Mm-mm. It's not coming in for me.
oh,
Oh,
I'm
there
done.
we go.
Don't mind me. Apparently, yep, it was my fault.
Hey, we built the plane as we fly it. It happens. Oh no, something went out again.
Something went out.
Okay,
Okay. I was like, I
right
plugged
there.
it. I hit the mute thingy on my computer, and I was, yep, I didn't know it was hit.
Hey, it happens. It happens.
So like, why are you saying mic is mute? Like, you're plugged in. So confused.
I'm glad we got that worked out. But yes, I definitely need all of those suggestions. Please send them my way. I don't know if we can watch it directly on the site or if we go find it in certain specific theaters. Oh, it's okay. It's coming out the end of September. So, okay.
Yeah, it'll be out this year. Um, it's
Okay.
like
That'll be awesome.
literally, uh, I am. I need to rewatch it because I ain't seen it in a second, and it's like, especially I don't know if you saw they had showed Stephanie Shu's audition tape, and then watching what she did in her audition tape to watching like like the final product. Um, oh my gosh, like she was born for that role. She was meant for that role. Um, incredible.
Mm, okay. I've never. Where do you find audition tapes at? Just out of curiosity, is there like some on YouTube?
Technically, audition tapes aren't meant to be shared unless you get
Never
clearance.
mind.
Like there's something like unless like you get clearance from the studio or the studio releases it themselves, not a lot of people are supposed to see um the audition tape.
Gotcha. That's an exclusive. Okay, so that's exclusive insight that we just got. So lots of transformations through that to be born for that role. So love it. Now I think one thing that I can't go without asking is asking you, what do you feel like have been the best, or let's say this, have been the most rewarding and the toughest parts of your acting journey?
I think part of the toughest is like finding an agent I mesh with,
Mm,
and then actually getting auditions for things I want. I've had a couple not so great relationships with my past agents where it's just like I'm a hustler. I will hustle to get things because that's just how I am. Like I believe in going after stuff. But if you are only trying to send me out for things that I don't feel are a good fit, I'm gonna call you on it. Because
mm,
obviously I understand if I don't get paid, you don't get paid. But if you're sending me out things that I truly one don't believe in, and two, it's just like a quick things to make me some money just so you can get 10%. That's not
mm,
the goal I'm going after. I want to make money so I can make you money. Like that's literally how it works. But I also want you to believe in my talent to book the room. And whether it's because you don't think because I don't have any like credits yet, I'm like, well, send me out for guest star roles. That's kind of how you build like on stage like
it's
experience,
like
right?
do your job.
That's just how you build experience. Um so it's just kind of just like am I need to learn how to be a little bit more discerning when it comes to that instead of always jumping at the first offer, or like at least not always not so such jumping at the first offer, but just taking the time to really figure out if you are the right person for me. Um,
Mm,
because I can believe myself, and I will continue to believe in myself. But if you're my agent, you're supposed to believe me too to get me into the room. That's literally, and then I'll take care of the rest. Or granted,
I
I'll
like
just
that fire.
so. I think the best rewarding is I just personally I love being on set. Like being on set has felt like home. It is long and it is tiring. And my college professor once said that as an actor, you don't get paid to act. You get paid to wait. And that is
Oh,
nothing but the truest statement I've ever heard in my entire life.
wow.
I have because I started off background acting. So I did a lot of background acting on a lot of shows for struck companies, and personally, it is the most humbling experience you can ever find yourself in because of how a lot of places treat background actors. As we can see by the strike and them wanting to only pay background actors for a day of their likeness and then use it in perpetuity forever.
Oh goodness.
So mind you, background actors don't get paid a lot to begin with. So if you're only
Mm-hmm.
paying me for one day, but you want to use my likeness forever, that don't click. That compensation is too low.
Huh.
And I know people who might do that, who might take that, and that's great for you. I will never be one of them.
I love that because standing your ground, I feel like is so depends on the person. So hard to do. So I know it's hard for me. I will get shaky and almost cry or miss out on something before I'm just like, this is what's going to happen. A, B, and C. No to this. This is how it needs to be. Like, has that always kind of like been like you? Like, have you always kind of been in that like bold shade? Like, I'm going to make sure this gets done and we're going to get it done the right way, or did it kind of like grow on you at some point?
It fluctuates. Because I'm funny, like funny enough, I am a person normally who does not like confrontation. Confrontation, I don't like it. If I'm confronting somebody, I've reached my limit, and it is what it is. Um, so like growing up, I literally was because like I really did hate confrontation. Like just because of childhood, and then childhood colliding. I hated confrontation. I hated doing that. But as I get older and continue on, sometimes it's necessary to put on, the big girl undies and just and also realizing that sometimes it's okay to do what's best for you, even if one, if it's going to be hard, because it's going to be hard, and two, it's okay to say no, especially when you know in the end what's in your own best interest.
Mm.
Because sometimes it's like saying no to things and then missing out on something, and you'll just feel like, did I just make a bad decision? Should I have said yes? Should I just not made it a big deal, or was it a big deal? But at the end of the day, if you're not comfortable with something, if you don't feel good about doing something, just don't do it.
Mm.
um just like don't do it, because if you're questioning, then you're there's your answer already. You don't have to question things you're sure about.
Y'all
Also,
taking notes? Okay. You better. I
um,
am.
I mean, it's like when you ask, if you when you ask your friend like a question about something, and the only reason you're asking is because you want to like, you already know what the answer is. It's like, what is it like? If I'm already asking a question, I already know the answer.
Yes, yes, yes. I've heard people say that a lot. Yeah.
I mean, granted, that's mostly in regards to like have like if your partner is cheating ish, but like at that time, it's also just like, if I'm asking you this question, it's because I already know the answer, right? That also could be applied in this situation in a sense. But granted, I also had to learn, because I am a people pleaser, and I grew up being a people pleaser, that learning to say no is okay. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's okay to say no. You're not a bad person. That is your boundary. That is you just knowing yourself. And also realizing that no is a full sentence.
Mm.
If I'm saying
Mm.
no, I shouldn't have to discuss it later. I'm just literally saying no.
Yes. Okay. Look, if I wish I had like a soundboard, so I need to get a soundboard because clap it up all around. Because the way people need explanations for no's, and like if you say yes, okay, excuse me, where did that come from? Where did that come from? Goodness gracious. But that's definitely something I personally need to hear, because it's like, oh gosh, like, why can't everything just be nice and as it should be? Like, why make me have to do this? But it's like, okay, that's a learning experience. And, that's a growing experience to be better for yourself at the end of the day. And like you said, you doing well and having that faith in your capabilities, it helps your team at the end of the day as well. So you're all moving in a better direction rather than just grabbing any and everything that's limiting in a sense. And just kind of looking at it by numbers. So you betting on what you need to be betting on. I love that. I love that. Now, I do want to absolutely make sure I give light or shed light on everything that's going on in the entertainment industry right now. I know a lot of people have been seeing things, um, different videos from different actors, and different articles come out, and pictures as well about people going on strike, to for actors and actresses to have what they deserve and what they worked hard for. A lot of people have seen residuals as low as a penny and as high and low as $20. And it's crazy like seeing all of that happen. And I just want to understand like what is your perspective on all of that? Like how did that get started, and where do you stand on that?
So I fully support the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. How this got started is okay. So the WGA and both SAG-AFTRA as well as the DGA all have contracts with the AMPTP, and the AMPTP stands for the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers, aka the studios, the major
Mm,
studios. And they have to like re-up their contract, I believe every 3 years. And that like covers was so far, especially in this contract particularly, it covers the writers, the actors wanting protections from AI use. It wants them to have like a more like increase in their residual pay, especially in regards to streaming, because a lot of people's now that a lot of shows and everything movies have moved onto streaming, the residuals are even lower than they were if they were on television right now. Because it used to
mm,
be, from my knowledge, like if a writer wrote an episode and that show was on television, like running in syndication, running a rerun, then that writer would also receive a check. That check
mm,
could be like 7K maybe, um like high 7K, maybe low 1K ish, but like in that range. And residuals in a sense are meant to help the actor or the writer like in the in between time between their next gig, because writers room used to be like maybe 10 to 12, 13 people, and now they're maybe between 4 and 6 ish. To my knowledge, television shows also used to be 22 episodes. Now a lot of episodes are only getting 8 or 6 episodes. So that
mm.
also limits the residuals in that sense too, because of the episodes being so short, and also limits the amount of time they have to make the scripts.
Oh goodness.
So like let's say if you like had a like an 8 week, 9 week job on a show, that means somebody put it into like a nice context in the beginning of the WGA strike. Well, let's say a writer did an 8 week 8 to 9 weeks on a TV show, right? And the grossed out was 45K. That's a lot of money. But we still got taxes. And then you got to
Yeah.
pay your manager or your agent because they take a cut too. Then you also got to pay your dues. So let's just cut that real quick. So we have 45. Now we have 26K. So now we have 26K. And let's say you still got to pay your rent. And we're talking about LA rent.
Mm,
So
mm.
an average 2 bedroom could cost you 2,800.
Ooh, that is a
So
world of difference from Alabama.
now we gotta pay that. You had 26K, but now we gotta take out rent. If I and then do the math on that, like you maybe have like 1,500 ish left ish, give or
Yeah,
take.
that's
So that's not include like utilities, your food, your gas, or if you just like your things you want to enjoy. And that's like even maybe before you can find another job, because some writers it takes them 6 to 12 months before they find another gig.
oh wow. Mm.
So and then also studios pay late. They don't pay on time. So
Has that
I
always
mean,
been a thing?
one, it depends on the production company. Two, another time it depends on the studio. Like even doing background, I didn't get paid like every week. I got paid 3 weeks later.
Mm.
So, and as a background actor, I was technically working with the agency. So, but even the agency, I had to hustle for each gig for the next one. So I had to like call in or try to like book the next gig if they're looking for somebody who looks like me in my age range to be able to even get another job the next day.
Goodness
And that's why
gracious.
a lot of actors, or especially a lot of actors, they have second jobs like that are like they can flexible. It can be flexible to work if they like do book a co-star role for that week or something. But it's kind of just like if I'm an actor, I mean like acting is a profession, and I am somebody like you might see every other week working your show, but what I'm making from that show can't sustain me. So even though I'm working on this network show, I still have to have another job to be able to pay my bills.
Mm. I imagine that has to be so stressful because it's like when you have to worry about having that extra job to take care of keeping the lights on, keeping a roof over your head, it all kind of sounds like it's taken away from the freedom to create that writing and acting is like meant to be.
I
Does
mean,
that sound about right?
it's and it's also the same thing like teachers. Like teachers having to have like second, third jobs just to have supplies in their just to have supplies in their classroom.
Mm.
It's like a lot of people a lot of people see teaching, they see acting, writing, and they see the arts in general and they undervalue it. It is something that's so undervalued in this country, but it's also the one thing during a major tragedy that people turn to. So it's always I find that
Mm.
so ironic in a sense because it is just like y'all don't see value in this unless there's a earth-shattering traumatic situation, and that is the one thing you always turn to help you through it. Like you
Mm.
don't appreciate this unless there's something bad going on in your life, and then once the bad thing is over and you've had time, you're just like, oh yeah, like it's not that big deal. Make it make sense.
Yes. Yes, that's absolutely true. A lot of people don't kind of feel it until it's real for them. And that's like the ugly truth in a lot of situations. And let me see, make sure I'm giving light to people who are talking about this too. Um, I don't know how long it specifically it's been going on. I know we've seen a lot of it lately. But when did all of this, I guess I'll just call it AI infiltration, and just like the studios doing whatever, like has that just kind of like just now hit the news, but it's been going on
I
or
mean, I think AI has always been a worry for a lot of people. Um, I think it really came to a head more likely now because the advancements with it, like people are really like they're so quick to be like, oh, AI, it's like it's going to make our life so much easier. And what I think, I mean, like I'm not saying anything's wrong with the advancement of technology. Never. However, I think it's real easy for humans to think that while on one hand it'll make it'll make what they do easier, but also just because it'll make it easier does not mean you need to get rid of the human element.
yes.
And like I mean, granted that's just my personal um thing on that because it's AI is embedded in our computers, in our telephones. Like a lot of people use it. It's there, right? But I also think people humans believe that they have a handle on it. They'll be able to handle um if anything bad happens, right? They'll be able to handle it.
Mm.
And it's like there have been so many movies, and like in there have been so many movies that have warned you about the dangers of this, and y'all are just like, we will not make those mistakes while you're making those mistakes. I'm like,
Movies, Black Mirror, like, are we
that
not
like
piecing it together?
I can't talk about any of that, right? I can just say that there have been movies that have addressed this particular issue, and even though they've addressed this particular issue, humans still believe that they will be immune to such things.
It's not real until it's real.
And I'd rather it just stay like an imaginary thing and not a real thing, right? Um and then you have studios doubling down in a sense and trying to hire for AI job positions to people and offering these like crazy six-figure salaries. I'm like, well, these six-figure salaries you're trying to offer for these jobs, you could just be paying your actors and your writers fairly so we can end the strike. But no, no, no. And it's just like, you guys are costing not only California economy, New York economy, but like any economy that has a major labor movement or is dependent on labor, you're costing your state billions of dollars.
Mm.
Like you're just costing them like the last writer strike, and this is just the writer strike, it cost California economy 2 billion dollars, and that was only 100 days. Now, granted, the writer strike right now will hit 100 days on August 9th. We're all, and that just for California, it's already cost the economy of California over $3 billion in
Woo.
loss. In loss,
Did they not? How does that not make sense? Like, if it's losing, if there's so much of a loss, it's
because
like,
like
where
the
is the
article
care?
that came out said, um there, I believe there is some truth to that, and I don't believe that it was just propaganda and then nobody at the AMPTP said that, because that's a lie. Um, allegedly, I believe that's a lie anyway. Let me allegedly, so nobody comes for me. Because I heard the rumors anyway of talks like that they were gonna wait till like November ish before they do meetings again or want to go talk because they want to make the people homeless.
I saw
Uh,
those articles about that.
so do I believe somebody said it? Yes. Allegedly, I believe somebody definitely has said that, and that's definitely a strategy that they have thought of. But I think they underestimate the fact that people had to live through a whole entire pandemic. People had to lose their houses and apartments because of COVID. People have been homeless. People know what it means to be without money. So you're threatening them with something they're already experiencing right now. And in their minds is like, we're already here. I'm pretty sure if 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 I'm already like worried about my place I'm living, my money, my food, my gas, all those stuff, I'm not, I don't think there's anything lower than this position right now. I don't think
Mm.
that, and I also think that the studios also, and just from halfway in regards to the WGA, that they believe that they were going to cower and they're going to just like take the same deal that the DGA did. And these writers are built different than 0708. These are not the
Mm.
same people. This generation is the F around and find out generation.
Hmm.
Y'all, like, it's like, even with SAG AFTRA, and granted, like, there's so, like, and this goes across everything, people who have been in this industry for like decades, even. Like, no one, like, no one is like gonna go back to the way it was, because your way is doing nothing but feeding money into your pocket,
Mhm.
while you leave us with crumbs. Like, why should we do that? Why would we take that? And like, I think there's a misconception that people right now want to be on strike. they don't want to be on strike. This
You're on
is like
strike for a
this is
reason.
this is the last resort situation. But this is also the only way for the studios to pay attention. This is also the only way studios will hopefully understand that the way y'all are doing things is not going to fly. And like of them saying like, oh, what they were asking for in is unreasonable. First of all, they were asking for the WGA was asking for 2%, less than 3% of what the studio makes overall in a year. So
Mm.
the studios originally asked for $429 million. Again, I'm gonna tell you that the economy of California has lost three over 3 billion. So the WGA was only asking for 429 millions to be spread out between all their members. That's
Mm.
that's all they're asking for, right?
That shouldn't be
Um,
hard to do. It seems like people are just,
it's not exactly hard, but then there's the thing with streaming. So the issue with
oh,
streaming is like they want more transparency as well. They want if the stream of the shows are getting really high numbers, then people should be compensated for those numbers. But studios specifically, one streaming platform doesn't want to do that. And it's just uh it's the strike is necessary. It is needed. Do I, as a person who is not only actress but a content creator, want to talk about all the shows and movies that have come out? Yes, I
mm.
would love to. Um, will I? No, because doing that promotes the struck companies. And why would I do, like, why am I doing it? I mean, granted, I already do it for free. I was doing it for free before the strike, but like, why would I now, especially do it for free during a
When
strike?
they're really trying to hold you back.
Or like,
Goodness.
or they're trying to reach out to creators to, still promote stuff, and some people are taking it. That's that's not. And if they want to do it, and they have no plans to ever join the union, cool. But SAG, after especially, has made it very clear. The WGA has made it very clear as well. If you take any jobs that would normally be done by a writer or by an actor during the strike, you will never be allowed to join the union.
Mm.
You will never be allowed to be a member.
And I just want to actually make sure I put it out there for those of you who aren't as aware that SAG-AFTRA is Screen Actors Guild, or the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. So I want to make
Yeah, they
sure.
merged a couple years ago, so now it's SAG after because they used to be two separate.
Okay, because I wanted to like make sure if, and just in case people were asking, like, okay, what is that? How can I find out more?
Yeah, so SAG and after itself used to be two separate unions, and it wasn't too like I think the last 6 or 7 years that they merged into one giant one. So now it's SAG after.
Mm. It's when I was reading articles about everything that was going on, it was almost really hard. I mean, it was really hard to believe because for them to have articles that are saying, okay, they're just going to wait it out until people are on their last penny. I was like, there's no way people are that heartless and greedy. And it seemed like maybe I was keeping too much hope alive in how people can really be. And it's like, why would you do that to people for your own greed? And like for what? Like what is that going to do for you at the end of the day? There's not enough sense of looking out for each other as people. And similar to what I put on the screen here on that Remodel Media was saying, I was speaking on this just the other day, like just because we can does not mean we should. Like, I know we're always looking for the next thing, this, or the latest thing, that, or our own new invention that's going to change the world, but we don't understand how much damage that's really doing, and how much we're leaving people without what they're supposed to have. And it's just, it's a shame. Like, I feel like there's like so much pride caught up in that.
I mean,
um
I think that's
you
the
know.
biggest word for is literally at this point is pride on the studio's part. Like,
Yes.
because like it's like if they cave now, then I don't know. Like it might make them seem. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right term. Um, but at this point, it is just a. It's one of the seven deadly sins for the studios. It literally is pride at this point because,
Nobody wants to admit they're wrong.
and it's just like you. I mean, I don't know if you have to admit you're wrong, but come back to the damn table. Like
Mhm.
it's just like I'm not saying like I'm not saying they have to admit they're wrong, even though as the world can see you are wrong. And you have been wrong for a while. However, come back to the table. If you're wrong, cool, own it and just keep pushing. Like at this point, because now like a lot of shows are getting pushed to like 2026. Movies are getting pushed to 2024. That were supposed to come out this year because of this strike.
Wow.
A lot of movies got pushed. Like the Zendaya one, it's supposed to come out September. It's moved to April now of next year.
Oh, wow.
Because if actors can't promote their shows or their movies, how can people watch them? If content creators and influencers know when shows and movies are supposed to come out and can't hype them up, how are people supposed to see it?
Mm.
And I think also one of the biggest people who are going to also be the most affected by this are the POC led projects.
Right. Right.
And I
Because we need to see
and
more
that's
representation.
and there yeah we need it, and it's going to suffer a lot because the actors who will promote it, and especially the influencers and content creators who will relate to having that type of representation, can't talk about it,
Mm.
can't hype it up to their followers, can't be like, you guys should give this a look. And again, we always have to remind people that you can't blame the actors, you can't blame the writers. They didn't want to go on strike in the first place, but they we had to. And if you want to blame somebody, blame the studios.
That's true. That's true. We need to shed a lot more light on that. We really do. I really, like, my heart goes out to everybody who really wants to put their all into their work, and who has done so much work, all for them to have to be restricted in order to stand their ground on something. Because it's like, dang, I want to keep going, but it's like, you're making me do this. Like, just, he's on the road with this. Remodel Media is saying no one wants to strike, but sometimes you have to. You got to do what you got to do.
And like, and it's like with a couple of the actors who have spoken out against the strike, like in a sense, like, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It is not okay that there's a strike going on. It's not okay that you can't promote your movies, but also you're not the only one who can't promote your show or your movie. You're not the only one who's worried about where their food is going to come from. You're not the only person who wants to be able to talk about that stuff, because you're not. We would love to talk about these things, especially because a lot of us, we have such a true passion for it, and this is our job in a sense. This is what we want to do. But people, if you have an entire union of over 100K people, and over 80% of them don't have health insurance, something is wrong with the system.
Absolutely.
Like how does only 13% of your members have health insurance, and the other 87% somehow don't qualify.
Make
I
it
thought we've
make
all decided
sense.
that healthcare, especially, is something that everyone should have and should have access to. Like that is something that we should be worried about.
It really is, because even when you're like, I know I've heard some things about like having insurance um in this industry, like it, like under this as actors and everything. One thing you made me think about, someone told me, who's like in the voice acting world, who's acted before and done a few other things, and has a studio. He was specifically saying like he'll put everything he has, like he was really gung ho about talking about insurance, and I didn't really understand at the time. Like I was like, okay, maybe people have their personal preferences, but I was very unaware of like the absence of that for most people, and the, I guess, the hoops you have to jump through to be able to get it. Like no one could have told me when we first met, that when you and I first met, that that much was happening with everything. And I'm glad that we were able to get this time to be able to speak on that, because as much as I'm learning, I hope this is spreading awareness to like everyone as well. Because that leads me to like a couple more things I want to ask you. I know we've gone a little bit over an hour. It's okay, speak your truth. But what I absolutely want to make sure I bring up, two things. First off, is there anything either that I've asked that you want to speak more on, or that I haven't asked that you want to bring light to? And then at the end of that, what ways, if there are any, can we do to support this movement? What can we do? So I'll let you take the stage.
Um. Okay. So sorry, my ADHD was acting up. So the
One
first
at a
question
time. I
was
got you.
no, but for real. So the first question was like anything I want to mention, right? Okay.
Yes.
So I mean, I guess so if anybody follows me on TikTok, like my content has shifted obviously because of the strike, because I am not promoting any of the normal things I would do for struck companies, so I can't talk about certain things. However, that also just means I get to bring up, more of interest that I love, like, musical theater and reading books. Like if no one knows that about me, I love to read a book. I'm always reading a book. Literally, like I always have a book on me. Mostly it's on my phone, but I'm always reading a book.
Is it
Uh,
like fantasy, or just like a quick side note?
um,
What's your
most
genre?
most of mine, ro- uh, like romance ones. Though I do love a good like what's the word? True crime like stories. Like I
Mm,
love like true crime. I'm weird in that way. I love trying to figure out who the murderer is. Um,
it's a lot of
cause it,
mind tricks in
cause like
there.
no, literally, like I mean, granted, like even when I'm watching like movie mysteries, sometimes I'm just like I'll probably either figure out who the person is super quickly, but just because I figured it out, I still want to watch the rest of the movie to figure out if I was right. One and two to figure out if I wasn't right. How the hell you surprise me? Um, I'm really good at it, but then sometimes it's like because I'm good at it, like I can also miss the clues. Like I'm seeing what they want me to see versus the other way around.
Oh, yep,
Um,
yep. Detective
so
Shay.
sometimes I'm really just like, oh, okay, I know who it is, and then I get a complete switch, and I'm just like, the hell,
How'd this go
like how
by
did
me?
like no, but for real, I'll be like, okay, then I like I'll walk it back, and I'm just like, yeah, I saw how I did that. Um, I saw how, yep, I know where I went wrong. That's cool. Um,
Hey, it
God,
happened.
like no, but for I wouldn't say I'm really like a true crime girly, because I don't listen to true crime podcasts. But I do love a good murder mystery. They just fascinate
Mm.
me. I'm one of those weird girls who just like who like like a girl says like she'll watch a true crime show or something, so she knows what like to like look for, like in ways to
Mm,
protect herself type thing. That's the like
yeah.
reason why I enjoy it. Because that show be
Hey,
like,
there's nothing wrong. That's training in the process.
no, but
You
for
get
real, I'm
what?
just like, because I notice patterns. I'm just like, okay, so look, I'm seeing this pattern, things I should not do. Cool, I caught up. Got you. I will not be doing that in the future. Right.
Man,
Um, because I also just think like you should know in a sense of ways to protect yourself at all times.
that's
Like
smart. Because I've been
I
told I need to be aware of my surroundings, and I just, it's terrible.
like yeah, like having an awareness of your surroundings, having just like even like you have both like ear like you can have like both your headphones in or whatever. Like sometimes I just like I don't have mine all the way in so I can just still hear.
Mm.
Because
Okay.
like because like something could shift and I'll be like, what's going on? Like something shifted. I don't know. I don't know how it shifted, but I know it shifted, right?
Feel like they don't think
Um,
I can hear, but
no, and like because sometimes like I like granted I might not even have anything playing in my headphones. It looks like I like, and I'm like, and I'm just aware of everything, but I just don't want to also be bothered, so that's why I have my headphones in. Like I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to be bothered. I just have my headphones in. Specifically if I'm walking and I'm just like, but like you're still being aware of your surroundings, even though it like seems like you're not. Um, so that was off topic.
you
However,
you can see how people really are, though. But this is all a part of the extra things that you want to make sure you put out there. So I think we started off with TikTok.
we
Yes.
like
Yeah.
so yeah. If you follow me on TikTok, I obviously, if you notice, I'm pivoting my content a little bit. The one thing I will start talking about a little bit more is animation. So it's been cleared by a SAG strike captain that we can talk about animation episodics, just not animation film. So I will probably start talking about like the Ghost of Molly McGee, Haley's on it, which are technically on a struck company, but they are episodic, so I can talk about it because these were the examples that were chosen. I can talk about like the Owl House. I can talk about the Boondocks, which I will probably do working on like after this, because there is something I want to say, and I'm just like, the Boondocks needs to come back because I just the way real life is going right now, I think the Boondocks is needed.
Huh.
It's
I wish
necessary.
you would have came to DreamCon with us last weekend.
Oh, my
I
friends
think
were
they had
there.
the
She loved
okay.
it. She was obsessed. She just like
Okay.
she's like felt like she was like being around like so many black people. Like she loved it.
I was about to say I think they had the man behind Boondocks there, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I was like, he was there.
Especially
So,
after
but
what was happening with like Kiki Palmer and her baby daddy, like the way we were living in a Boondocks episode was wild.
oh my gosh, that was a lot on its own. Okay, like I'm just like, ugh. The Twitter battle is real, or the X battle at this point. It's not even Twitter anymore. Okay, but I agree, we
Like
do
it's
need to
over.
have
But
the
like
Boondocks
it
back.
was like, but in the way sometimes I get pulled up my FYP, I'm just like, this show is needed again. Like I needed to come back, please and thank you. Um, because the way a lot of it's still relevant is crazy.
Yeah, I was like, he was on to something. When he had it, somebody said Carl Jones, I believe. I'm sorry, because that name had escaped me for a second. Yeah, co-executive producer of the Boondocks. Yeah, he was there in the building. So we got to
Nice.
catch him next time. We got to catch him with the suggestions. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that.
No, because somebody had the best fan theory, and I so wish, like, I really wish, like, they did it again. So the fan theory is that the boys, like grandpa dies, and the boys have to go live with their grandma, who's voiced by Jennifer Lewis. And I am just like, I would be sad. I would be there. Because this is like after the announcement they were planning on doing the reboot, but then John Witherspoon had passed away.
Mm,
So I just like, man, I really like if anybody was going to replace John Witherspoon, Jennifer Lewis is the best person for that.
mm. I feel
Like her,
like
like the voiceover, I can just know it was going to be amazing.
I thought there was going to be a continuation from
There was
there.
supposed to be, and then he died, and then I think talks just kind of like didn't start back up again. I think.
Dang, I thought there was something definitely coming out like post, grandpa passing away. Maybe they just put it all at a halt. I don't know. I know there's been like some switch arounds with production behind the scenes. So I was like, I don't know what happened. But maybe we just as fans need to unite and do something. I don't know.
Like I literally, when I do my video, I'm gonna have to be like a little asterisk to be like, animation episodic is clear to be talked about. I am not scabbing or crossing any picket lines because the way people are figuring out what this word means and then trying to throw the word at people, it's just like I've had to like correct a lot of people in my comment section to be like, um, crossing the picket line. No one is scabbing. Um, there's a difference
Mm,
that, and also because it's also a serious allegation, and I don't
mm.
think it just should be thrown out lightly.
Okay. We got to be more careful with the words, y'all. We got to be more careful. We got to educate ourselves. Use this to educate yourself, please. But also, as if you want to continue to get more educated on things, again, be sure to follow Chae on TikTok. So, is it real Chae Jones on TikTok too?
No, it is a spoonful of Chae.
A spoonful of Chae. Okay, that made me want some shea butter or something. Okay, I, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And also definitely don't want to forget how we can support.
Oh yeah.
So what ways can we support everything that's going on right now?
So you guys can support by one, you can donate to the Emergency Relief Fund. It is a fund that helps gives financial assistance to those who are really struggling during the strike. And then if you also live like in New York, Atlanta, or LA, or somewhere really close to where people are picketing, you can join them on the picket line. You can also donate food, sunscreen, a sunblock, freezy pops, anything like drinks, anything like that that will help them while they're out picketing for 3 to 4 or 5 hours a day.
Whew. Man, that's something serious. That really is.
Like there was a giant picket at Universal on Friday, and it was like over 1,000 people, like at the strike in the streets, striking for a
In the
SAG after
Florida heat.
California.
Oh, I mean, still, it's hot everywhere.
That is also true.
Yeah.
But yes, in the heat, striking from 9, I believe, to 12 that day.
Somebody asked specifically how to donate. I'm looking up emergency relief
Oh,
fund.
that I believe you. Hold on, I have to type it out. Because I believe you can just go to the SAG after website, and it's where is it? Yeah, all right. I might hit the wrong thing.
Let's see. I'm trying to look with you. I assumed it was get involved. Let's see.
I also think you can find it on SAG after like social media on Instagram, maybe too. Like I think they have an official link for you, so you can donate.
So let me send you all the links in the comments as well. Oh, I forgot MacBook works a little different, or Macs in general. So let me put that there. And then you all can find the same on social media to support. And again, in person, if you want to supply anything like she said in LA, New York, or Atlanta, be sure to get your information so you can show support and offer supplies to do this, especially in these crazy heat conditions. Please do everything you can. Please do. Well, with
Oh, they
that being
also
said,
they also set up a little merch. SAG after set up a
oh,
little merch that people can buy if they want to also support the strike, and then the funds from those sales will go also to the emergency relief fund.
and is that also on this site that I have posted here?
Uh, I think this one is like the visit the SAG after shop. So,
Oh,
yeah. Oh yeah, sagaftra.com. Hold up. It's on their, well, the link is on their Twitter.
oh, okay, okay. It's through Twitter.
So you can buy like a hat, a tote, a mug, or a shirt.
And I'm also going to be sure to put this on the Facebook page as well for this entire event. So there are like a couple of pictures like from when we met, and also a picture from like, what you're doing actively. And I'm going to add in ways for you all to be able to support. It looks like I found the SAG AFTRA strong t-shirt. So I'll be sure to include that as well. Put that here.
And I think everyone should pick it. I think it's fun. It is uh I mean, it is like obviously hard work. But I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm going back again this week. Um it was such a like community building thing. Also, if you have not heard how a certain superhero is very anti-strike, and if you're a fan of the CW show Arrow, there will be a Arrow reunion on the picket line at Warner Brothers on Friday, August 11th. So the writers, the cast members, and the fans uniting on a picket line at Warner Brothers this Friday coming up. If you guys would like to join, and obviously meet some of the cast and writers from the show.
All right. Okay, I see it here. Some things about that too. All right. Do I have your permission to add this to the chat as well on that?
The picket line? Oh yeah,
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
they posted it. They want people to show up.
Okay.
um,
Good.
I
Good.
I'm looking forward to the pettiness of it all because that was such a petty response, and I'm here for it. Um,
Hey, no, I support. I support. You know what? I love this. This is probably one of the realest interviews that I have had. Okay.
oh,
I appreciate that so much because I rarely have like moments where in the middle of also getting to know about you, um, like getting to know about the person that I'm talking to, there's something actively going on that we need to spread awareness of, because this is definitely a learning experience for me, as well as for everybody else too. I personally, like I said, from the beginning, I've seen some pictures here and there of people's checks that they've posted. I've seen some videos go around, but as far as knowing in depth what's really going on, I think this is a perfect way to be able to add that to people's understanding. So I really do appreciate you so much for
no, of
taking
course.
time.
I also think if people really want to like know more about it, you could I'm trying to remember the place, but there is a way for you to like at least look up the proposal that both the WGA and the SAG after had like proposed to the AMPTP, and you can see exactly what was rejected by the AMPTP, or they what they didn't want to like talk about, because like after you read it, it's very eye opening to some of the things they were rejected, which seem very um just reasonable, like actors having early call times, but their early call times are not in the safest part of town,
Mm.
and wanting to, just be able to meet at a safe place for people. Um,
Wow.
like, or, background actors getting paid a little bit more than what they currently getting paid, and just being treated as equal people, and that being rejected. It's very eye opening to when you read everything that both the WGA and the SAG after were trying to fight for, trying to at least demand and request, and then watching how the APTP responded. I think that's also
Mm.
very eye opening for a lot of people, because I know there is like as many articles and things that there are. Some of it is a lot of misinformation put out to throw people off, or to throw the um, blame in a sense on the WGA and the actors, as if like people were spoiled or anything. When the fight that SAG-AFTRA is going through right now, it's not even for like the top elite 1% of actors. This is for the working actors that they're like this fight is for,
Mm. Mm.
and they're fighting now so that hopefully no one has to fight later.
I heard that. I know this is gonna go a long way. Like you said, new and improved ain't like you were before, like standing strong. So I'm not mad at it. That takes a lot to do. And so again, I just encourage everybody tuning in or who will tune in. Please support however you're able to. I put as much information as we were talking about throughout the chat as we were going, including one of the first things I could find, I believe from the Washington Post, about what you were saying, like what was proposed to AMPTP. So stay informed, stay involved. Please support, from being present or spreading the word. There are so many different ways to do that. So that being said, I really appreciate your time. Segmenting out what is now kind of getting close to like 2 hours. I appreciate your time because I know you are on the move doing your thing.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to thank everybody in the chat who showed up. And I guess I could call it like the MVP person in the chat is definitely remodel me,
Thanks for
remodel media.
He is amazing. He is awesome. I am also surprised that he's up right now because I know it's midnight where he is. So thank you so much for watching, dude.
Oh gosh. Yes, go to sleep, get your rest. It's time to wind down for the night. I can't wait to, be able to see how this progresses and continue spreading awareness more, and just getting more things out there. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and y'all stay tuned for more. Again, make sure you check out the YouTube event space because I'm going to have all the links there for what you need to know to support. So I just can't stress that enough. So with that being said, I'm going to end the live, and y'all stay tuned for the next things that we have going on. Thank you for the school drive donations. Want to shout that out to you all from yesterday. So we appreciate that. And we'll have other ways to get more involved and get back to the community from the Blerd overside as well. So I would say Sunbae and Chae out. And thank y'all